Surprise, everybody. Adam Rake here to talk a little bit about Sam Darnold. And before we do, I think it's important to note right off the top that this would have been a quarterback I would have preferred to go to the Chicago Bears. Of course, in an earlier video that you can check out here on this YouTube channel at youtube.com/Adam Rake NFL, I had Sam Darnold in the mix with guys like Marcus Mariota, Gardner Minshew as players I would have liked to have seen come to the Chicago Bears, but that's okay. He's now going to be a member of the Carolina Panthers, and honestly, that's a very good spot for him to land. And first of all, let me just talk about this. I think he's going to be what's up, Garrett? Good to see you. I think this is obviously going to be a good spot for him. I still believe that Sam Darnold can be a very good quarterback. If you go back and you watch the tape, he's obviously a good quarterback. Like, he makes some impressive throws. And I think that, it wasn't going to work out for him in New York. And one of the reasons why, and I've talked about this, you can see this in my mock draft, and I'll be doing a video on my mock draft here in a couple of days. Of course, I had to kind of adjust some things because Carolina have kind of, mixed things up. They're probably not going to be in the market for a quarterback anymore. But one of the things with the Jets is that the organization, the guys who are running it now, have won Super Bowls before with quarterbacks who are on their first-year contract. Now, obviously, Sam Darnold's going to have a fifth-year option coming up here very soon. Why not go for a guy right now? You start over with Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, whomever it's going to be. Figure it out. Let Robert Saleh go out there with a brand-new guy, Mike LaFleur. They've got a brand-new everything. You don't want to sit there. You don't want to move in with your girlfriend and have her ex sleeping on the couch. Like, you had to avoid that situation. So it was good for the Jets. They had to move on from Sam Darnold, and it's important, just for a number of different reasons. But it was also important for the Carolina Panthers not only to go after a young talent like this, but somebody who has some ability. Now, it's funny, though, to act like you see people, the way they react. People are like, oh, I'm sorry, is Sam Darnold all of a sudden Johnny Unitas? Well, nobody's saying that, but he was the second overall selection a couple of years ago. He's a 23-year-old, and I know my friend Sam was making fun of this, everybody keeps up, but he is a young guy. I think it's worth mentioning that he's a young person. And I don't know if somebody was trying to be ironic, talking about his numbers through the first 3 years of his career. Like, oh my God, have you ever seen somebody come through and do this? Have you ever seen somebody return, be able to bounce back after having numbers like this? I don't know. Has there ever been a quarterback in the NFL who has left Adam Gase, gone on to play in one of the South divisions in the NFL, and then suddenly turned into a Pro Bowl quarterback? Has that ever happened? Ever? Oh yeah, that's right. Ryan Tannehill just did this. And I don't want to be lazy and to say that Sam Darnold is going to be Ryan Tannehill, but he's got that kind of ability. And this is why you don't give up on quarterbacks. Now, listen, if Sam Darnold goes there and he's going to be put into a pretty good situation with Joe Brady as the offensive coordinator, I love that. I love that he's going to hang out with Joe Brady, play with him, see what he can do. If Sam Darnold does not work out in Carolina, then you're out of excuses. Then you can be like, yeah, maybe he's just not going to be a quarterback starting quarterback on the NFL level. But give him at least one post-Jets team. Give him one post-Adam Gase opportunity to go out there and show what he can do. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's the next Johnny Unitas, that he's going to all of a sudden be a Pro Bowler. But give him an opportunity to go there and work with a coordinator like Joe Brady, with DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey. We'll get our answer pretty quick. We're going to find out immediately if Sam Darnold can be an NFL caliber starting quarterback in this league or not. We got it. We got to figure it out. But that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Bob, that's exactly what I was saying. I was trying to say that we were talking, Ryan Tannehill is the most recent example of somebody who's gone out and done that. Now, I do want to say this, though, and to bring this into a little bit of what's up, Josh? Bring this into a Bears mode. Because Carolina was a team that we expected to go out there and draft a quarterback. And I know my friend James Coe is saying, well, it's one of those, is Carolina still in the market to draft a quarterback at 8? To me, no. They're not going to draft a quarterback. You have Teddy Bridgewater still. You have Sam Darnold. You can't bring a rookie into the mix. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. If you have 3, it's ridiculous. So I think at some point, and maybe they could, I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater stays with the Carolina Panthers, but to me, they're done. Because you use that 8th overall pick. What if Kyle Pitts is still there? Waddle, some of these other guys, there's a lot of offensive talent that you can go out there and draft. And to me, it seems like an opportunity to go out there and fortify, go get one of these young receivers, Devonta Smith, whomever it's going to be, put him there with DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey, and then go see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, I think Matt Rule has proven over the last year that he's a pretty good coach, and then you can let him start over again at some other time. But I think that Sam Darnold's worth the risk. So for me, Chase will be gone at 6. Yeah, there's a lot of guys. So Jamar Chase, anybody. Yeah, I like all of it. Chase could be available because we don't know. We don't know what the Falcons are going to do. There's a whole ripple effect because the Falcons could literally go quarterback themselves. I don't think that it's their best choice, but they could certainly go for a quarterback. Quarterbacks could go with the first 4 picks. Denver could jump up to number 4. New England could jump up to number 4. But you know what? One of these quarterbacks could end up falling as well, which is important for us, the Bears fans. I don't know. I kind of want the Bears to trade back because to me, Ryan Pace is like your buddy who is fine unless he's doing shots of fireball. And for Ryan Pace, first round picks are his fireball. And he just can't handle himself. He's great. If he's just drinking beers, which in this case are 2nd and 3rd round picks, then he's fine. And I would love to see Ryan Pace do that. I don't necessarily want him screwing around with doing shots or anything like that. Once he goes up to the bar and Ryan Pace is like, we're doing shots, you might as well just leave. The evening's ruined. But if they can kind of sit there and be smart, maybe Mac Jones falls to 20. Maybe Trey Lance falls to 20. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater goes to Atlanta. I think that Teddy Bridgewater just might be a backup quarterback in the league too. I mean, he had an opportunity last season with Carolina, and of course, Christian McCaffrey did miss some time, and maybe it's not fair to be dismissive after one season, but at some point, it's a thing too. At some point, and it's kind of the same way with Darnold as well. It's you've been given a chance, but how many opportunities? And, I think we've seen enough, and we know what he's going to be doing. But months behind is asking, do we really want to see Ryan Pace drafting any quarterback at this point? I do. You know what? He's not had a great track record. You know what? But you know what though? Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Pace and the quarterback situation is it's kind of like the way that a lot of us golfers have with our driver. Where you're struggling off the tee. And you've had some bad shots. You've put some into the woods. You've chunked some. You've made some poor shots. But all it takes, that one shot where you pipe it down the 17th fairway, outdriving the other big hitters in your group, where you're like, you know what? I think I got this club dialed in. And you know what? Honestly, as bad as Ryan Pace has been at drafting quarterbacks for, his life, all he has to do is nail one. And if we're sitting there at 20, I certainly will go back to a video that I posted last week. I wouldn't trade up. I wouldn't trade up excessively. I'm not trading up to 4 or doing anything like that. Unless the Falcons are just giving away the pick or something like that. Maybe the price is starting to drop because, we're just assuming that the teams that need a quarterback are going to be falling. I don't know. I don't want if Ryan Pace is there at 20 and Trey Lance or Mac Jones is there, all right, fine. So be it. Let's do it. But I don't want him trading up. I would prefer if the quarterbacks fall off the board. If Mac Jones goes to New England, if Trey Lance goes to Denver, that's fine. Let's just fall back. Fall back as far as we can and just kind of fortify the offense. Where Ryan Pace has actually shown some potency, some talent at finding these guys late in drafts. Think about Tariq Cohen. Was Cohen his guy? But David Montgomery. I don't think Cohen was his guy, but David Montgomery. Tony Miller's been okay. Darnell Mooney. I think that Cole Kmet's actually going to be pretty good this year too. So he does have some opportunities right there. Now, if Justin Fields is there at 4, I just don't think it's going to happen, Berlissimo. This is the thing. Like, I'm talking in hypotheticals. I wouldn't mind it. I think it's a lot of it. It depends on the price. You know, I wanted. I mean, in a perfect world, if I can figure out something that's palpable, if I'm giving up a package like the 49ers gave up to move to 3, I don't know that I'm there yet. Like that's a Russell Wilson type package for me. I don't know if I want to pay that for somebody who's a little bit unproven. I like Justin Fields a lot. The Falcons are going to be asking for the same price that the Eagles or Dolphins, got. I'm just going to have to take a pass on that one. I'm sorry. Yeah, the 49ers, they paid a crazy amount. I mean, you know, and honestly, we might not have to pay that price. You know what? It's kind of like concert tickets. You know, your friend paid $1,100 for floor seats to see Pearl Jam. We waited to the day of the show and got it for $200. That could be a situation as well. And maybe we have something else to offer to Atlanta. But I think ultimately, the Bears are going to end up staying at 20 or perhaps moving down at Berlissimo. And anybody who follows me on Twitter, what was I saying? Twitter, follow Berlissimo as well. I think he put out his mock draft. Was it you? I don't know. Was it Draft Dr. Phil? I don't know. There was a cool mock draft I saw recently. I'm pretty sure it was Berlissimo. He'll tell us if it wasn't. And if it wasn't, I apologize. But he does great work anyway, so I don't care. I would still suggest you follow him. But in any event, love Sam Darnold. Love the move. Don't mind jumping in. All right. If we jump in front of the Patriots, that's fine. They're at 15. I don't think the price will be that extravagant. It's kind of like the Leonard Floyd deal where we had to jump ahead of the Giants. And looking back on it, it wasn't the best move that we've ever made, but I'm okay with that. You got to move a couple of spots. Mitch Trubisky, we only moved up 1 spot. But no, you know, I get what you're saying. Like if we had to jump, all right, you can talk me into it. It was you, Berlissimo. I knew it. It's a good, go check him out. Go check it out on Twitter. Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out today. And Josh, you're a good person. Thanks everybody. I'm going to have my mock draft with a twist coming out this week. So make sure you're like and subscribe, all that stuff. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Just wanted to jump in real quick, but thank you. We'll see you soon. Bye.